Welcome back to Marbella Now. My name is Nicole King and I'm delighted to be welcoming on the programme Liz Parry, journalist, ex-editor of The Sur in English and author, no less, but also a very, very interactive member of the community where charity is concerned. And that's what we're going to be talking about primarily today. Liz, welcome back to Marbella Now. How are you all the way over there in Zoom land?
I'm fine, thanks, Nicole. I'm sort of getting used to this Zooming business, but it's nice to see you. And may I say what a lovely background you've got today.
Thank you so much. We've done this new green screen at the studio, and they've used the introduction of my programme as the setting. So I literally am in my idyllic me Marbella, all colours and cute. So I'm glad that you're...
It's lovely. It's lovely. The weather looks better than it is here today, I must say.
Yeah, well, it is actually interesting weather. But that's the nice thing in Marbella, or the Costa del Sol. Even when we don't have the sunshine, there's everything else.
Exactly, yes. Yeah.
So you're keeping yourself busy, although you're not now. I know I always feel not sorry for you, but I empathise from having been such an exceedingly busy woman with being the editor of The Sur in English, that how you keep yourself busy and how you cope with the lockdowns and the restrictions.
Well, I'm very lucky. I mean, I cope extremely well. And actually, for the past 3 months, I've had family staying with me. My daughter and granddaughter came over from London for Christmas, and then they never went away again until last Saturday. They just decided it was better to be locked down in Malaga than in London. So I've been very busy on that front. But I also do lots of other stuff. There's never a day when I haven't got something to do. I do keep busy.
It's lovely that you had an opportunity to spend time with your granddaughter, because it's a very precious moment that they get to for bonding and getting good nana time in.
Yes, and you don't usually get to spend sort of 3 months at a time with them. You make the most of the time when you are with them, but actually living with them for a long time, it was very nice.
Wonderful. I'm so happy for you. I'm not as happy for you because I know that you've been suffering tremendously, that the English cemetery had to be closed down. Well, yes, I mean, it sounded like all these closures, but you don't think a cemetery could close.
Yes, we just couldn't afford to keep it open any longer. The cemetery, it's run by a foundation. It's a charity, which was started up when the cemetery was very dilapidated, and there was really nobody. There were no funds coming in at all. No burials, no official funds either from the British government, which has sort of long lost interest in it, or from the Spanish government. But it's such a wonderful place. It was such a shame that it was getting very dilapidated. So we set up a foundation, a charitable foundation, to look after it. And it was being funded okay until COVID, basically, because we had visitors coming in and we charged them a small entrance fee. And we had cultural events there. There were concerts happening and guided tours, and schools came on educational trips and paid a small amount of money. So it was going quite well until now, when there's just no income at all.
I'm actually taken aback that the sense of that you were funding a cemetery via children's school trips, events. What kind of place is the English cemetery? Tell us a little bit about it. I mean,
it does sound weird, doesn't it? But actually, you'd be surprised, Nicole. There's a lot of cemetery tourism. We actually belong to the Association of Significant Cemeteries of Europe, and there's a whole lot that's very interesting going on in the cemetery. Not only the people who are buried there, but the reason it exists. So there's all that to be explained to people, and there's a lot of historical interest in it, and monumental. There are monuments. So there's a church in the centre of it, but also it's a lovely garden. I mean, if you come to see it, it's just so peaceful. It's almost in the centre of Malaga, but you go up into the cemetery proper, and you can sit outside the church, or you can sit further up in the old precinct, and you can see the Mediterranean, and you're surrounded by trees and birds. It's just beautiful. And people don't come because they think, oh, cemetery, that's a bit dark and dreary, but it's a beautiful place.
Well, actually, I was looking
really worth keeping open to the public, and for children to come and learn about the international history of Malaga.
I mean, it's definitely something that as soon as like restrictions permit and the cemetery is back open, it's something I definitely would like to do. In fact, I was looking to see if I could interview the paranormal tours of Marbella because there is something for everybody. Does it have that aspect as well in the cemetery there? Is it renowned for any particular significant people buried there, or spirits that are of unrest that remain?
Lots of significant people are buried there, but we don't have much in the way of spirits who are not at rest. Probably it's so peaceful, they are at rest. They're absolutely fine there. So we don't have a lot of paranormal activity particularly. There is a story that the last person who was buried there is sort of in charge of all the rest of all the souls that are there until the next one comes along. But that's just it's just a story.
I was going to ask, is it a working cemetery? Do people still get buried there, or is that something that stopped because of the situation?
For a long time, because it is now sort of in the urban centre, we can't bury any more bodies there. Cemeteries have to be outside the city limits. But we can have ashes, and there are a lot of people who, when their loved ones die, they take the ashes home and don't really know what to do with them. Catholics often have them put in, they're called columbariums in the churches. There are little niches for ashes in the churches. But a lot of people, either they scatter them somewhere significant, or they keep them and don't know what to do with them. And we have got a lot of space where ashes can be placed. They can bring the urn, they can have a little ceremony. The ashes can be put either in the ground with a small gravestone, or they can go, we've got a vertical garden which is divided into spaces where little niches can go. So quite a few people already have brought their ashes, put them into this wall, and then that's a place where they can come and sort of meditate, be in touch with the spirit of their loved ones, sit in the garden and be at peace. So that's something we're really pushing now, because most people don't know about it. And it's a great place to have your last remains.
It's also a way, hopefully, of maybe getting an income to help keep the place going. What can we do to help reopen it? Because, as you say, it's an emblematic place, yes, not just to be buried, but to visit. It's a nice resting place.
It is indeed. Well, we do obviously make a charge for ashes going into the niches. People can also become a friend of the English cemetery. That's very easy to do. If you go onto our website, which is cementerioinglesmalaga.org, or just look it up. You can become a friend for a minimum of €20 a year. Of course, if you would like to pay more, that's absolutely fine. And then we have started voluntary groups because we had to get rid of the gardeners. We just couldn't afford to pay them anymore. But there are lots of local volunteers have come and said that they would like to help with the gardening and with other things that need doing, sort of maintenance and stuff like that. So if anybody's handy with a drill or with cement or just planting things, they'd be very welcome to come and join the volunteer groups.
So at least to keep it in a decent state until you can reopen. What is your criteria for reopening? Can people, even though it's not open, still do burials? Are you looking to reopen based on when you get in a certain amount of funding?
No, we can certainly open the gates if there are any burials of ashes happening. Saturdays and Sundays we are open to the public, so people can come and visit Saturdays and Sunday mornings. And this weekend we're going to start having a guided tour in English, because I think there are a lot of people actually in Malaga and roundabout who don't know about the cemetery and who would be interested if they had a guided tour and were told about it. So at 11 o'clock this Sunday, I shall be at the cemetery and I shall be taking a group round. And if there are more than 15, which is the limit at the moment, somebody else will be there as well to take a group round and show them round. So that's just the cost of entrance to the cemetery, and then you get a free guided tour included.
Can I ask how much it is to get into the cemetery?
It's €4 if you live locally and €5 if you don't. So
it's not much, but certainly a very needed contribution at the moment. And
indeed, yes.
Sounds like a nice tour. I'm not going to promise, but I might just show up with my camera and give our viewers a treat. So they can
it'd be
actually
great
see
to
that
see
it's
you,
worth
Nicole,
it.
and if you could do the tour on camera, then that would be wonderful.
Because I think a lot of things, we don't know what's out there, and too many people arrive in the airport at Malaga, drive off somewhere else, and have no idea the treasures it has to offer.
Absolutely, they do, yes. Yeah, I think more people now are coming from abroad to actually live in Malaga, sort of business people, and they're working at the technology park. Younger people are coming with their families. Of course, this past year, everything's been a bit on hold, but we really do need to get the word out about what Malaga has to offer. It's not just beaches.
No, it certainly isn't, but it's so much more Spanish. In fact, I laugh at myself because in Marbella, I don't like the foam on coffee. So I would say, like, café con leche caliente sin espuma. And you go to Malaga and say that, and they look at you like, I beg your pardon.
Yes,
because it's just a real
espuma on your coffee.
Yeah, it's just a real normal place. So you don't have all this palaver that we have down here on the coast. Talking about making more of things, I did see that you had a few book signings. Just when it was permitted, and I'm really enjoyed reading your book, the expressions,
thank you, Nicole.
Getting a bit more about the history of Spain. I love your appreciation that you came to live in Spain, not in the sun.
Yes, I think if you ask anybody why they come to live in Spain, to begin with, they'll always say the weather. And of course, the weather's absolutely wonderful and we make the most of it, but there is a lot more. And I think after you've been here for a while, you realize that the lifestyle is just brilliant. Even if you're working really hard, there's always something else to be doing when in the evening. Spaniards seem to stay up very late, so you can go out and have your dinner at 10 in the evening and you can get home at 1 o'clock and you can still go to bed the next day.
I think that's what's so
today,
strange.
The weather hasn't been very good in Malaga today. It's been cloudy, but I've been following the Spanish lifestyle. I went down I had lunch in a chiringuito. I had a very nice, cheap fish lunch, sitting outside, of course, with just one other person to stick to all the rules, sitting by the sea, and then came home. If I wasn't talking to you now, I'd be having a siesta, which is a very, very important part of the Spanish lifestyle as well. All these things, and the more you can get into the Spanish way of life and speak a bit of Spanish, the more you'll enjoy it. It's not just the weather. There's so much more.
This is so true, and having that understanding of the language just makes it a richer experience, because they're also so grateful, whether it's perfect or not. It's just showing, and then also trying the foods, and as I say, just doing it the Spanish way. It's a very nice and a very helpful tips with your book. Before we finish,
I wondered if you'd read the bit about the ordering different coffees, because that's in the book.
It's funny because I did a column on the coffee because I never thought Starbucks would make it, because we had good coffee in Spain. How are you going to charge us double for some dishwater? But I did. I thought it was very funny because that is, as you can see, a subject close to my heart. Just give me a real coffee.
And to mine.
Before we finish, because I actually do want to leave some room to come and visit you, if possible, at the cemetery at the weekend. Cudeca, I know you're very involved with Cudeca. It's been very also traumatic times for them. But wow, what a lot of money's been raised. I mean, it's just blown my mind that is even possible.
That was fantastic, yes. They started a crowdfunder with the idea of raising enough money for a new home care team, because basically people are still being terminally ill and dying at home. Some of them are very alone. And Cudeca sends out these wonderful home care teams. They send out a doctor, a nurse, a psychologist, and a social worker, which is often really needed in these cases. Look after people at their homes, not only medically, but sort of their spiritual needs and their social needs. And make sure that there's somebody with them, that they've got somebody to talk to and express all the feelings that obviously you have at that time in life. And not only for the patients, they help the families. So the idea was to raise enough money, 185,000 euros for this team for a year. And actually went over that. I think it went over 160,000. Huge amount of effort put into it by the whole Cudeca team. And a brilliant response from the community. I think anybody who knows Cudeca, I think, just loves Cudeca. They know what Cudeca does, and and it's just wonderful. So
we all have to
very
do
generous response.
It just shows, I mean, right now, whether it's to keep the cemetery open for the people who are dying or just want to go for a visit, and then people obviously who need continuous care, and as you say, the families also need that support. If you have, viewers, money to spare, please do donate if you can, and your time is equally valuable. Cudeca, the English Cemetery, as all the other charities, your time, even if it's a couple of hours a week, could be very, very, very helpful to many people. Don't you agree,
Indeed.
Liz?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we're going to leave it there for the moment. Liz Parry, thank you so much. You are an invaluable member of our international community, one of our hell leaders. For the rest
thank you, Nicole. I just love being part of this international community. It's such a fantastic community.
It is. We are blessed, not just to live in Marbella, but also to have the team that we do. Liz, take care. I look forward to seeing you very soon. This is not a threat. I think it's a promise.
Thank you, Nicole. See you in the cemetery, if not before.
Sometimes it's nice to just get lost in the moment without a care in the world.
However, if something does come up and you find you're actually lost, it's also nice to know that you can call Linear Director to come and find you. Call Linear Director on 952 14 78 34 to see how they can better your life too.
When I'm the designated driver, I think it's only fair that I get to choose a zero-hero venue that rewards me with free soft drinks. My friends all get to choose and booze, and they feel safe going home with me. Make sure that you get your reward for being the designated driver. Why pay if you don't have to?
Hi guys, Ross here from Hogan Stand. Proud to be a member of the Zero Hero campaign. And we recommend everybody. Nobody drives drinking. Everybody who drives a car doesn't have any alcohol in their system, and we're proud to sponsor the Zero Hero program.
Our welcome Zero Heroes. How many visitors?
G-Wine is happy to be Zero Hero partner.
How cool is that? G-Wine.
Thank you.
No time to hesitate.
Sala are proud to present Zero the Hero. Never drink and drive.
Poison arrows shoot straight to your
McNulty's is proud to be a Zero Hero partner.
Out of bounds, Zero Hero partners.
Here we are, sticker going on, delighted to welcome everybody and to be part of the Zero Hero campaign. Delighted.
Zero Hero, welcome here at the Gaucho de Banus.
Welcome to Lemongrass, Doña Lola. Thank you very much.
Let the feeling into your soul. Let it set you on your way. No need to.
Zero Hero, welcome to Portofino, Cabo Pino.
There'll be no trouble.
Well, instead of going to the English cemetery in Malaga, I have come to an English portrait by Puerto Banus, to La Sala in fact. And why? Well, because they're holding a charity event in aid of AAA, Marbella's Animal Rescue Centre. And I'll join Lily and the gang inside for a lot of fun, a lot of singing, goodwill, and hopefully a lot of donations. We'll tell you how you can help to play once again in a wild set of dojo.
Happy Hanukkah.
No time to hesitate, we are all the same. So much trouble tearing us apart. Poison arrows shoot straight to your heart. We can change if we try. Just believe it's worth your time. One, we are at one, we are at one, we are at one.
She's helping. We'll go down the back later on. We do have a credit card machine, so if you feel like it's easy, we can use our machine. We've got a lovely, in our raffle today, we've got a lovely cupdan that's been donated by Deborah Charles. She actually makes these to order, so if everybody's interested, please speak with Deborah and put your orders in. Okay, have a lovely day, enjoy the food, enjoy the company, and just remember, everything is going to AAA to support our furry friends. Thank you.
Let the feeling into your soul. Let it set you on your way. No need to hesitate. Time to make a change. There'll be no trouble tearing us apart. Brothers, sisters, one beating heart. We can change if we try. Just believe it's worth your time.
All right. Second prize, Nicole. We have a ticket with a red border, a white ticket with a red border. Kim, it's on this side, please. The lady over there on the corner, 998, that's it. Next ticket. From Marbella. She's feeding in El Rosario every day. She goes around with her loving husband, driving her car, feeding all the stray cats, paying everything out of her own pocket. This lady over here. Thank you. Ticket with a red border. Red border number 984. 984. I mean, everyone with a heart for animals is a winner in this world. So thank you very, very much for that. Yellow ticket, 339.
Smile for the
Yellow
camera.
ticket, 339. Yellow ticket, 339. Blue, 371. That's 370. 371. Hello everybody, thank you very much for being here today. We had a wonderful event at La Sala, and thank you very much for Nicole for being here and reporting everything, all the charities we do for AAA, because it's so much needed. Anybody can help us out with charities or with events. Just contact us and we'll make it a wonderful day for everybody. Thank you for being here.